You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Thank you, Marshall. Today I'm going to talk about keeping good company. Now, what do I mean by that, right? If you're going to be in business, if you're going to do anything positive, even if you just, you just doing something just for a hobby, just in life in general, be around the type of people that you want to be. I had a gentleman I know, right? And I mean, he's pretty successful with what he does, but he's still not a millionaire. And he said something very profound. He wants to be a millionaire, so he needs to find some millionaires to hang around. I'm gonna tell you what, and this is some people might think this is new agey or metaphysical, but it's a real thing. If you want to do something, hang around the people that are doing it. If you want to be a barber, hang around other barbers. If you want to be a bricklayer, hang around other bricklayers. If you want to be a vendor of anything, hang around other people who are doing it, regardless of what you're doing. If you want to be a personal trainer, you need to hang around people who are going to work out. Let's use that last one as a great example. If you the type who you want to get into fitness and you want to train other people, you can't hang around a bunch of lazy people who want to let their bodies go to pot, who don't want to take the time and discipline to work out, because it's going to affect you. People don't realize that, but you're affected by the people you hang around. And I don't know who came up with the saying. I know my mentor said it, but also I think he got it from someplace, but I'm not sure. I mean, maybe someone listening might have heard it or might know the original source of it, but it's a very powerful statement. He say a person will make an average of what their 5 closest friends will make in money. I want y'all to think about that for a second. So if you're a person and you want to make 6 figures and stuff, it's not going to help if you're hanging around a bunch of poor folks who not trying to do anything. Or even if they trying to do something, they ain't quite making it. I know we're cool with people, but you can't hang around that type of person. I say that in relationships. Like one thing, my core base of support is men who are trying to improve themselves with women and, their choice of women in quality. I couldn't, don't hang around some dudes who are just, have zero luck with women. I hate to say it might be your friends or something, but you got to move up. And I've told several guys, I've said, shoot, if you're a guy, you're not really getting that much play, find a friend who's a player and real good with women and just hang around them. Because their energy will rub off on you, literally. Because people tend to people have a tendency to conform to whoever's around them. I mean, it is what it is. Even a leader, even if somebody who's naturally a leader, they're going to conform to the person around them the most. That's why, even in marriages, that's why you can see somebody who might be, and I say this for men, that's why I tell men that they need to really be careful. And I know this is the business channel, but this kind of illustrates the point. If you're a man, you want to be real successful, you're trying to go any place, don't be with a woman who's satisfied with just living an ordinary life. It's not going to work. Because like it or not, you're going to be pulled down to her level. It'd be nice to feel like you're going to upgrade her, but the reality is if you hanging around her, and especially if you hanging around her friends, you're going to go down there. Now, if it's a situation where you hanging around your friends, they're all successful, you could be pulled up. But see, sometimes you have to look at everybody you deal with, right? You got to look at it. Like me, the people I deal with the most are entrepreneurial. They're either entrepreneurial or they are very intellectual and they're the type who are thinkers. That's because those are 2 things that I value very much. And even with the relationship thing, right? I noticed one thing, and this is with me. I've noticed that if I'm around guys who don't get a lot of women or they complain a lot or something, I notice it starts affecting how I'm treating women. And it's very subtle. But then when I'm around And I actually feel a little depression. I ain't gonna lie. But if I'm around dudes who like going crazy, love women, got women lined up, I notice I feel better. And that's in anything. If you're around a lot of people who are just perpetually broke, perpetually haven't made any successes, that's gonna hurt you. That's gonna hurt you. A person needs to be very careful. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to be very careful who's in your circles and who you spending a lot of time around, right? Very careful. You got to do that energy thing. Like I remember back in the day, there was this bookstore chain in the DC area, Karibu, right? Saying anybody in this area from anybody who's in the DC area from back in the day might remember it, right? I used to just walk in there just to be energized. Because the owners, I knew them. I mean, they were African American men, just like me. And I used to just go in there just to feel good, because I'm like, if they can do this, I can do this. And in fact, I had books in there, and they were part of the inspiration. If you can do that, you need to be around it. Sometimes I'll go in a business and check it out and see how it is and stuff. Like, and I think like country clubs. I think that's why a lot of people will pay money to get into those exclusive country clubs, just to be around that person, Because you notice with millionaires don't hang around anybody poor that is not working for them. Or they limit their time. They hang around like-minded people. And that's a very important part. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to limit the contact you have with people who ain't on that level. It's the same. I talked about this when I talked about relationships and all of that. You gotta limit that, because you're trying to do something, but if their mindset isn't there, even well-meaning, they gonna hurt you. Because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, you can't do that," or people don't make that much money. It's like, boom, I can't do that. Like me being a writer. And I've told a story, I think, on the other channel about, how this woman was like, oh, how can you make a lot of money as a writer? But that was just one instance. I had a lot of people who just didn't see it. And really, I got to the point, I would only deal with other writers. Like somebody, just be around that. Like whatever you do, whatever your vocation, be around other people who are doing it. If you're a writer, be around other people who are doing that. If you're an artist, you need to find an artist community. One of the things, because that'll keep you going. Let me get back to the entrepreneurial thing. One way or the other, I mean, it could be an online community. It got to be something where you're around other people who understand the hustle. Like I've always talked about vending, right? Vendors, that's a community. That's a subculture. Anybody who's followed me a while know I like talking about subculture. That's kind of a subculture. People understand. People understand. You can talk with them. They understand the struggle. They're not going to get up there and tell you, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, or get a real job or something, which kills me. They're going to understand the struggle. They're going to understand the highs and the lows, and they're going to offer support. But one of the main things they're going to do, they're going to bring you around that energy. That's a very important thing. So that's the main thing. That's the main message for it. I mean, no matter what business you in, try to be around other people who doing the same thing, or at least people who understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. It might be hard for you to be around people who are doing the same thing. But say you want to have a food truck or something, but you got a friend who, they got a clothing store, or my favorite example, a t-shirt store. That's better still than just hanging around people who don't understand it, who just say, hey, just get a 9 to 5. Because at least the person will get that you need to be hustling. So, anyway, that's it for today. Let's go make that money.